Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Oliver, and I'm in a bunker I call Studio 72. I just kind of wanted to chime in on some of the. Whoa, look at this. Long golden hair. Who's got long golden hair? It's Miss Raquel. I wanted to come in and just kind of give some insight to my response to this Bibi. That's the way I look at it. The Trump administration, regardless of who pulled them in, it was Bibi pulling them in, their actions to attack preemptive strikes on Iran, which is a huge escalation in World War IV. That should be obvious. Somebody like me, a painter, knows that. Then these genius $1 million brains down in DC around Donnie should know that too. But this one's still wet. But looks like it's reversed on Sun Gate. This is art from the Andes, right? I love that. So it's kind of a, see that staff? Looks like a lightning rod to me, you know? It's like, was there metal in that? I mean, I just think about that, like with that whole, they're calling it the Sun Gate. Pretty intense. And then you might remember this one. This one was the Owl Priestess. But you see, Dumb Nuts here. It's got bloody feet. So Dumb Nuts and the Owl Priestess doing a sacrifice that came from another etching hieroglyphic of artwork from the book Artwork of the Andes, which is pretty cool. I mean, since I mentioned the book, let me show you. I've done another painting, if you remember that one. That painting there. And then this is really cool. So what I just showed you with the Sun Gate, there's the Sun Gate, right? You see that? It's kind of grainy. But this one here, it's the staff. But this here, which I'm going to show you as I move across, this here is the evolution, frame by frame, slide by slide, of the tapestry artists. The hand-woven, brilliant craftspeople. And look at that. Look what it ends up. So that's going to be a blanket, a tapestry, kind of a poncho type thing, where they had some really cool checkers. They really like checkers. But this is like, these are not Neanderthals. These are not mudmen. I mean, if you thought that about the ancients, I don't think that at all. But these guys were brilliant, and there was obviously some star people, in my opinion, or with the spirit world of some form that was influencing them. But it's so hard to see that on video. I mean, my God. But I just thought I would show you that, because that is where this Sun Gate, right? It's kind of hard to see it because it's a little bit too big. But that's kind of appropriate because we're dealing with this, we're kind of waxing off of the summer solstice. And the summer solstice is kind of a prime time for human sacrifice. I mean, I don't mean to sound dark, but it is kind of anticipated. I actually had a premonition, not of World War IV starting yesterday, and today. That's the thing. When you get in these astro aspects, you got to give wiggle room for a couple of days before and a couple of days after. Okay, in my opinion, this is it. It's how things they reflect. It's how it's all the cosmos and the time travel is timed in. For example, a perfect example of this is that right now it's daytime, as it's nighttime on the West Coast for me, West Coast surfer time. In Iran, it's actually a day ahead, right? So it's kind of interesting. If you're not thinking about that, it's kind of hard to put it in perspectives, you know. And I've got my astro calendar here, and that's something that I have to go through in my head, kind of wrap my brain around, is that these astro aspects that I'm seeing that would affect the West Coast. There's 3-hour difference there for the East Coast, but really Russia is in tomorrow. Iran is in tomorrow. See? The 12 or 13 hours. So, you know, I think about that and I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, it's when I'm reading something and saying Mars is doing some, you know, there's a whole bunch of interplanetary conflicts. So, you know, astrology is one thing, or you know, that's a whole nother subject. I know I like to combine those and kind of intertwine, kind of just, you know, they get convoluted like a big plate of spaghetti. But there is significance with the, hi, how you doing? My eyes aren't so good. It's just far enough to where it's almost blurry. Casanth 007, hey, 007, you're in the business. We need your input here, this intel input. So, but what I want to do is I want to break down a little bit on what's happened, because I've been in a little bit of shock. Let me back up 1 second. See, I start to ramble, my brain just starts going a million miles a minute. I did make a prediction of a large, like 7+, 8+ earthquake to strike Alaska and to have some type of tsunami type of effect, you know, tsunami, large wave. It's really kind of a sucking out and then an escalated flooding. The tidal wave, when you think of tsunami, when I think of tsunami at least, the tidal wave where you're looking at 1,500 foot waves coming in, that's the visual I get. It's not the way it is, especially with the earthquakes. And we've seen this historically. We've had them on the West Coast, 1950s, 1960s, from Alaska. So thank God I was wrong about the exact stacking up my poker chips on the table of Alaska on summer solstice. Now, I still have a gut feeling, even though I was wrong about the exact time, which I rarely do make exact. It's just too difficult to do that. It's really not the way my intuition works. I don't get exact dates and say this is all, but I did with that one. It kind of makes me feel like the tsunami was a political tsunami, and the hit on Alaska might be all the war developments up there, right? Because it's probably swarming right now and has been for a couple of weeks or months. It could have been that World War IV. That could be the tsunami. And I still have a weird feeling about Chinese submarines off the West Coast and the Russian warships and submarines up off Alaska. I mean, I don't know if they're there, but they probably are. And Monkey Works, he follows the plane. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. I still think, my gut still says Alaska is ready to pop with a super big one. You know, what I mean that's beyond a 7 and then an 8, which is almost unheard of, but the 8s do happen. I really do feel that's coming. And they were talking about, there was all kinds of predictions 30 days, 60 days ago about massive volcanic activity in Alaska. So there's something going on there, right? There's obviously things going on there on a military level. If you don't know that, we got a bunch of military shit up in Alaska, right? So I didn't really put that little breadcrumb together of the Alaska origins could be World War IV kicking off in what we're seeing, that I believe the Israeli prime minister, who's corrupt as all hell, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, pulling in Donnie and the Donnie administration into this entrapment. I feel like he was trapped. And I can talk a little bit about that. I don't want to go on and on and on, but 007, I don't know if you're still there, but uh, I was sort of joking about you giving us intel. Unless you got something, well, hot damn, let us hear it. The one thing that really grips me, and I'm going to try to lay it out. I've got my own personal feelings about things, but I'm going to try to set that aside, and I'm just going to try to analyze the concerns, the anxieties that we've got of how this implodes and destroys America first, which is I think that's the most important analysis. I don't fall into, although I did just trash the PM. I love Judaeus. I'll never forget a special lady friend who was Judaeus. Her father was a psychiatrist here in Portland, very wealthy. I used to joke I was the pool boy, going up to one of their big houses, and I'd clean out the pools. And of course, we get to have bevies there, no host bar, and we got a pool. But I'll never forget her. I'm not going to say her name. I think she's working in Portland, and I'm not even going to say where I think she is. But in fact, I know where she's at. But that's a whole other side note. I loved her. I'll never forget her. I'll never forget the Judaeus family. When you have that type of relationship with a woman, and you meet the family, that would be brutal in-laws. My God, her mother. Brutal in-laws. If it went that direction, and I could have married her just because she was so amazing. The Judaeus energy, there's something there, and then just oh my God, really just healthy sexual energy and attraction, the nurturer. There's something there. Now I'm overgeneralizing and I'm making that, but I back myself out of that, sharing that personal encounter, just to give you perspective. As I'm not one of these Jews. The Jews did it. The Jews are doing it to us again. These guys that are like stroking out on the Jews. God, I'm not that guy. I don't think like that. And when I hear people like that, it's like I want to rebuke them. But we really just want to get them into some psychotherapy because they need help. Now, when I say that, I'm not in full defense of the little country the size of New Jersey that operates like a mafia family, like New Jersey boys. There is real IDF, Mossad, and all the rest of whatever triple-digit agencies that they've got going on. And I do actually believe that there's a weird genocidal thing. And I've mentioned it in my last video. They seem to be attacking. They're the bad neighbors on the block that instead of just messing with the neighbors they don't like, they actually try to kill them. They actually try to make assassinations. They actually try to they do take them out. And they're pulling in other people. So it's kind of like a mafia. The Bibi, this little corrupt, bad godfather type of figure, pulling, and his wife, both of them are going to stand trial and do prison time for corruption. They're avoiding that with these wars. If you don't know that, look into the back history. That doesn't blur my whole perception of an entire people or even the entire nation of Israel, where at least half of those folks are in the streets protesting Bibi and his batshit crazy wife, Sarah. Okay? So, and she is batshit crazy. It looks like she's a complete heavy drinker, probably a pill-popping fucking lunatic. That's what this little documentary's coming out. And I actually caught some of it. I think it was Ian Carroll with Candace Owens. Somebody was talking about this documentary that's being suppressed about them. And just the footage that I saw, I was like, oh yeah, I believe that. Offering necklaces and diamonds and all kinds. It's the way these guys roll. That's the way Bibi rolls. And he has pulled Dawn in, which is a huge disappointment. This little 3-minute address. It was the most pathetic address to the country. Why he's decided to bomb Iran and get involved. He's using words like we. He's combined psychologically and emotionally and spiritually. Donnie is combining that corrupt prime minister tag team mafia there and Israeli warlords. He's combining it together and saying things like we doing this, we together, we've joined forces. This is a huge fucking mistake. The biggest issue that I have, which is what I just said, the biggest issues, hey, Tomas, is that Donnie, that's who I call President Trump. Donnie. It's short. Come on, work with me here. Donnie, what was I going to say? See, if I start getting into the comments, I'm going to lose my stream of conscience here, my stream of thought. The Donnie appears now. What Don has done is he looks like a liar. He looks like he's lacking integrity. He's the independents and these folks that he's pulled in for the 2024, the American First Umbrella, which has got a whole bunch of Maha Democrats, disgruntled Democrats that came in and left the blue and on, and God bless them for escaping the blue and on grasp and the hold of that DNC Democrat Party. Come on. Who's the communist? No. JDM Shitbox? Shitbox? You got a name like Shitbox? Good God. Get the hell out of here, Shitbox. Listen, Shitbox. Who's the communist? So what Don, it appears what he's done is that he's lacking integrity. He's lied to the base. We're going to lose a lot of votes. We're going to lose a lot more votes than MAGA loyalists, however you want to define them or however they define themselves, or the people that are just so enamored, the women that love Donnie so much that it's Donnie Town in South America and they're drinking the Kool-Aid if he asked them to. There is that crowd down there too. And then you've got the Make Israel Great Again crowd, the MEGA crowd, which is not America first. Going to war with Iran, going to war and blasting the Houthis, rattlesnakes in Yemen, that's not America first. That's Israeli bullshit first. That's fucked up. And that's screwed up because it sabotages the agenda of what we need to get done here in America. And we're going to splinter and fracture the base, which is going to pull people, or it's going to repel them. It's like a mosquito repellent, but it's going to pull people into different directions is what I'm thinking. And I could be off on this. Tell me if you think I'm off about that. There's a lot of diehards that said, oh man, you're way off. This is people they want to bomb. They love Israel. Everyone wants to bomb everyone. They're excited for World War IV and blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm reading. I've read all day long, F Trump. I'll never vote Republican. I'm voting blue all the way down the ticket because Trump did this to us. We have been suckered in and pulled into World War scenarios for so long that the populace is so bitter and jaded that this is a betrayal that's unforgivable for millions that voted for Trump. Those millions of people we need in the midterms. Those millions of people who are not the diehard MAGAs. They're not the diehard MEGAs. They don't give a fuck about Israel. In fact, a lot of them have been protesting in the streets against Israel, as if protesting does a damn fucking thing for anybody. It doesn't. Stop protesting. Stop walking around in circles. It's like a dog chasing his tail, right? It's like, you ever see that? It's like a dog who thinks its tail is a squirrel. And a dog will just go, woo, 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 woo. That's what protesting is. You're the dog, just chasing the wind, chasing his tail. You ain't gonna get no squirrel because it's a goddamn tail. It's not a fucking squirrel. You say squirrel, there's a fucking squirrel in the trees. That's the goddamn dog's tail. It's wagging the tail. See? And that's what this bullshit with Israel is doing. And it's a cover-up to cover the bloody path, the bloody footprints of the owl priestess Sarah and Bibi, the orchestrator of the human sacrifice. Just like my painting. It's the owl priestess right there. That could be Sarah. She's got her emerald and diamonds and got her necklaces. She's bribing everybody. And then you got dumb nuts here. Oh, dumb nuts. That looks like dumb nuts, right? With the big, huge fucking ears and big, dumb, goofy, Olaf-looking fucking creature. So that's my metaphor and my analogy with what's happening here. And it's most unfortunate that Don appears like he's lacking the balls to stand up against these neocons. And the way that I actually see it is I think Don has got brass balls. I really do. The way I see this in the framing is I see Don has been trapped. He trapped himself with his own rhetoric and his words, and he trapped himself. Well, how did he trap himself? He trapped himself by contradicting himself with public statements regarding Iran. And when you do that, you start setting timelines and you start setting ultimatums to be broke. And then he's trying to do this Pulp Fiction thing where he's holding pistols, right, as he's sucking down the soda pop, finishing the guy's cheeseburger, and the guy's shitting his drawers. He's holding guns at him, and he's saying, it's time for peace. Time for peace. And as he's sucking down their fucking sodas, sucking down the Iranian beverages. I don't know what they like over there. They like something. And Thomas says, so everyone's fucked. We might be fucked. How has... Not sure. Hey, Nella Ambrose. Love that name, Ambrose. Free Palestine. All right, James. I say free all of us. I say free Palestine. I say free the Yemen, the Houthis. How about we free the Iranians and let them do what the fuck they want to do? Who the fuck are we? Who the fuck do we think we are? We're the world's police? We're just going to start popping up little submarines and shooting fucking missiles out at anybody that looks sideways at Israel because they're losing their fucking asses. That's the other thing. Israel is losing. They're losing real bad. The way I've seen it the last 7 days is there are 1 or 2 strikes. Iran right now, since they've had their nuclear and energy zap, Iran right now, or some of the other 5 or 6 countries of millions and millions of people that all hate Israel right now and hate America, unfortunately, we're very vulnerable right now. We're very vulnerable. Biden's let in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of sleeper cells that could just be activated. They talk about these little sleeper cells. It's real. It's real. It's not just some bullshit. It's not just some fucking whack job conspiracy theory. There's millions and millions of people here that could be activated and fuck our shit up. Fuck up our parades. Fuck up our summer. Fuck up our beach plans. Fuck up your vacation plans. Fuck up whatever the fuck up you want to do that's fun with the fam is now at high alert jeopardy, and you're all I'm prime target. We're prime targets. How do you feel about that? How does the American voting populace feel about that now that Donnie's done what he's done? It's his fault, what they think. So we are in a real bad situation. I don't see this as a one-off. You know, Donnie's acting like, okay, it's time for peace. And it's like, brother, what the hell happened to you? I've never seen somebody turn quicker than like they were smoking crack cocaine. I sure God hope Donnie hasn't relapsed on some crack cocaine in that White House. Did they stumble across some big fucking Hunter locker full of fucking boom boom and cha-cha? Because it looks like that. It is such a remarkable change of personality. It's like, it reminds me of an alcoholic that's relapsed. Donald Trump, And I know he says he doesn't drink. And he says he isn't on any medications. He might need some medications. And if I was his doctor, I'd put him on some meds right now. Some propranolol or Xanax, Xanny bars. We got to get you sedated, boss. Because clearly you're all worked up and you're not thinking clearly. You got to get into some kumbaya, maybe pick up Buddhist, read some books on Buddhism or something, brother. Because you're starting to act wild like a crack addict. You're acting like you're on a bender and your lips are all chappy and you're kind of coming in like this going, now's the time for peace. And you just came in like Pulp Fiction and you just shot up the whole goddamn fucking apartment. And then here he is going, now's the time for peace. Brother, what's wrong with you? Is that your negotiation skills? You gotta spark World War IV so you can get the Nobel Peace Prize and claim you de-escalated World War IV when your little crime partner and crime family there, the mob family of Bibi and Sarah? It's fucked up, brother. It's fucked up, and I love you. This is like a family intervention. This is a family intervention, okay? You look at it like that. It's people that care about you are the ones that are going to shut that door, lock that door, trap you in that room and say, listen, motherfucker, this is an intervention. Yeah, you ain't going to go like this anymore. You're going to stop right now. Right now. Stops right now. You're going to be sick for 3 or 4 days. We're going to be here for you. You're going to be puking. Then we're going to kick you in the fucking ribs. No, we're going to kick you in the ribs. I'll give you a puke bucket. You can just sit there and puke and detox. And now, listen, I hope to God that Trump has not relapsed on crack cocaine. And I hope to God that the people around him, these neocons, Ted Cruz kind of seems like he's been smoking crack cocaine too. Did you notice that? What a crazy son of a bitch that guy's turning out to be. Ted Cruz, Mr. Silent Zodiac Killer, all of a sudden he wants to say that the Bible, he's going to look at it, he's going to go, well, the Bible says right here, 5,000 years ago, God said you're going to arm Israel, you're going to arm Netanyahu with 30,000-pound bunker busters because God says it's good. Who the fuck? What the fuck is Ted Cruz smoking? Shut your pie hole, sir. You have lost the fucking plot, Senator Cruz. Sit down and shove some of that peach cobbler in your pie hole. You've said way too much for way too long. First of all, blessed are the peacemakers is throughout the entire New Testament, dipshit. Did you miss that part in theology? Did you miss that part of the Bible? When you got stuck on the Old Testament? When God's having their sons and their fathers kill each other on the altar? Because that's where you're stuck. You're stuck where the Jews are killing their sons and daughters on the altar. Not a good place to get stuck, dipshit. Snap the fuck out of it. God does not want World War IV. God doesn't want us to back Israel for World War IV. God doesn't want us to bomb Iran. Who the fuck are you? Who are you people? You're like tall whites from fucking outer space. You ain't friendly aliens. You're not even friendly aliens. The friendly aliens we could deal with. The friendly aliens are better than you. Senator Cruz and you neocon dipshits. Fuck you guys. We don't need World War IV. What's that going to do to the American first economy? Right in the toilet. What's that going to do to gas prices? Straight all the way up to heaven in a bad way. What's that going to do with inflation? Right on up to the peaks of the fucking Himalayas. It's a bad idea for advancing America first. It's a bad idea to follow along with Bibi and Sarah Mafia to fucking do anything anywhere, especially bomb nuclear Iran. They've already got the nukes, dipshits. long ago. You don't think all their friends, North Korea, China, Russia, Pakistan, you don't think all of their friends with nuclear warheads didn't fly in some nuclear warheads? What's wrong with you people? And you're going to tell me it's in the Bible? What's wrong with you people? You know what's in the Bible? Israel going down. That's in the Bible. You want to read that part, did you? Oh, that's real scary to you, Ziocons. Israel fails. It's in Scripture. So when you guys get out of the Old Testament where you're sacrificing your sons and daughters on altars, find your way into the New Testament. Because the New Testament says a whole lot of different stuff than what that Old Testament does about the old Israeli way. Before there was any Israel, they were a people. And they all come back to Canaanites, where they split. They're cousins. You missed all that part. You missed all that part. We're supposed to just do World War IV, and we're supposed to nuke the shit out of everybody on the planet. Real fucking smart. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like something Satan would say. Are you with Satan? Is that who you're with, Senator Cruz? Are you with Satan? Quoting scripture from the Old Testament? Telling us we're supposed to die in a nuclear holocaust for Israel? Shut the fuck up, dude. None of us are believing it. It's a fucking mockery. You're making a mockery of MAGA. You're making a mockery of American First. You're making a mockery of Trump. His entire brand is in the shithole because of you, Senator Cruz, and you, Senator Lindsey Graham. You fucking whack job. There's another fucking guy that should be indicted on war crimes. You might too. You're going to fuck up the midterms. We might need to do some things next year legally. Get you guys in the proper containment, if you will. Like quarantine. We'll politically quarantine your ass. Well, let's just think about what the alternative to Trump is. If you don't like Trump, KC, Trump is a mockery, Taco Trump, Trump always chickens out. Trump always chickens out. I really think that is a psyops, and that's a part of that psyops that's actually fed into Trump's ego issues, and he's overcompensating for it. I actually believe that. So you're calling him a wimp. You're saying he chickens out. You're saying he's got no balls. He's just a peacemaker and everyone runs over him and he's just a piece of shit. If he's thinking any part of any of that that's gotten into his brain, he's going to start doing things like he's doing right now. He's going to prove all of you he's not chickening out. Trump doesn't always chicken out. Taco. That's such an original fucking thing that you guys have embraced from Eric Swalwell, who's been having sex with Chinese spies that built his entire political career. He's going to come up and coin and push this taco narrative. And here you are, you're embracing Eric Swalwell, the gassy Chinese spy banging piece of fucking goober meat? Come on, KC. Get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself, brother. My God, or whoever you are, they, them, blue and on, whatever's going on with you. Get yourself together. What's wrong with you, KC? Maybe we should just turn this whole goddamn video on you. We'll do a little crisis counseling. All right, you drinking? Because you look like shit. Your text in there looks like you've been drinking real good tonight. I'm kidding, Nick. Come on. I do respect the president. You get yourself on a treadmill. I got your treadmill right here, boss. I got your treadmill right here. I'll show you treadmill right here, buddy. Come on. Listen, let me get refocused and wrap this up. It's 34 minutes. I didn't want to go on and wrestle and all these goddamn trolls. The framing, when you insult a man publicly who you've tried taking bitch pop shots at, multiple assassinations, multiple attacks on his character, when you continue to do that, and people that are doing it know this, you're going to get a reaction. And that's exactly what the neocons probably did to him inside his little star chamber. That's probably exactly what the Mossad, fucking hate Mossad myself. I have a real bias. I'm praying that God helps me deal with that bias against Mossad. Not a fan. Love the Judaists. They're just as victims of Mossad as there anybody else. We're talking about FBI, CIA equivalent Mossad, IDF. These are the targets and our enemies. These are who we should be marching against. It's not the Israeli as a whole. Half the state of Israel is against Bibi. Their rainbow flag, a lot like KC right there. Just as gay as KC. And it is Israel rainbow flags. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Don't feel bad, KC, that you're gay. It's okay. It's cool to be gay. Do your thing. What I'm saying is they're liberal Democrats there, and they're protesting Bibi. It's not all of Israel. It's not the whole Israel component. There's a lot more complication to that. So you can't just fly this Palestinian flag. By the way, KC, the Palestinians are going to do really bad things to you because you're gay. They don't support the lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, scary, tall, white, alien, plus group. They do bad things to you guys. That's all. Muslims don't like that lifestyle. So you guys are marching around with the Palestinian flags, rooting for a team that's going to do some god-awful things to you with your knickers down. Just like prison. It's prison rules with these guys. So, yes, we want to free Palestine. We actually want to free the Israeli people from the Israeli regime that's also oppressing the Palestinian people, which are really Gazans because there isn't a real Palestinian country. You have Canaanites. They're actually cousins. Okay? Cousins. Look into it. Put your thinking cap on. So, where was I? Before Casey's coming in, now what is he doing? Wants me to get on a treadmill. Now he's saying, why are you assuming something false? Well, I don't know. You're ignorant? I'm definitely not ignorant. You're claiming false things. Well, I could be. I'm partially joking. I don't know if you're gay or not. You who knows who you are? You're probably, I just envision like a purple-haired kind of Smurf character, you know, like running around little mushroom, little trees and stuff. But I could be wrong. You could be a Keebler elf. You might be way out of a Smurf. You could be making cookies. Whatever it is, brother or sister or they, them, or whatever non-binary confusion you've got, brother or sister or they, them, whoever you are, I'm going to call you a tall white because you sound like a tall white. But yo's got it right. It's a troll. It's a troll. OFC you would. KC. We're praying for you, KC. Don't be a Ted Cruz, KC. Come back. Come back down. So Trump's head, it's gotten a little weird. He got a little jarry. If he was a heavy drinker, we'd say, oh, fuck, he's relapsing. You know, brother's been drinking too much of the whiskey. You know what whiskey does to him? He doesn't drink. He's straight as a fucking arrow. He doesn't like cannabis. Who knows? I don't think he's on any farmies. I would. Like I said, I'll repeat it. If I was his doctor, I'd put him on Xanny bars to begin with. Right away. There's too much tension. It's going to affect you when your blood gets pumping like that. And then you got neocons calling you a pussy and a taco, and you're always chicking out, you little pussy chicken outer. It's going to fuck with a man. And I think that's how he got trapped. And so let's think about it. If he didn't do anything, the Democrats and everybody are going to pounce on him. They're going to pounce on him, right? And they're going to say you're weak, you always chicken out, now you can't even defend us. And then you've got the false flags, okay? So the border's open and we've got hundreds of thousands of sleeper cells that are now activated, probably smoking meth and probably racing around thinking about ways to fuck us up for the holiday, which I'm very concerned about July 4th. It looks like a classic staged false flag. What better time to get back at the imperialistic pigs than July 4th? And there's all this astro bad alignment. So I can even throw astrology into the big fucking bucket for July 4th on top of the planned already verbal commitments that the fucking blue-haired violent sociopaths have already stated that they're thinking about doing things. They're going to do it all right. It's in the stars. Not only we got a psychic connection that they're coming on the 4th of July, it's in the fucking stars. So, checking out, he said there wasn't going to be any more wars when he became president. Exactly. That's why I voted for him, 2024. I was sick. I was sick from Biden. I thought we were going to get nuked. I really did. CIA with the Ukraine Nazis, the Azov Battalion in Ukraine, shoveling, fucking firing it off. They're losing too. That same type of war script that they said Ukraine was winning. If you remember, you may not pay attention like I do to the media. I'm a media hound. They kept saying Ukraine was winning. They just need a few more billion, just a few more meals ready to eat. Send more cocaine. Zelensky needs some more coke. My God, right? I mean, anybody that's ever done any cha-cha from the 80s or 90s, or you better not be doing any cha-cha right now, Casey. But anybody that's been doing cha-cha, you can see his fucking eyeballs are like this, right? I mean, that guy would probably fight Munchkins in a Star Wars episode. I mean, he's fucking loaded. You tell me if I'm wrong about that. That Zelensky is a fucking cocaine addict. So send the cocaine. That's what CIA does best. Are you kidding? Mossad and CIA, they love to pump that shit into people, especially the war leaders. They said the same thing, that Ukraine was winning and Ukraine was being devastated. Russia was kicking their fucking asses in. Kicking their asses in. And it still has. And they'll continue to do that if that's what they want. They should have negotiated a peace. In fact, he should have prevented the whole thing and just gave denazify. What's wrong with denazifying? Does anybody tell me what is the negative impacts of denazification of your populace? Anyone? He's wearing a Pesa hat. You are literally on to nothing. CIA hooked me up. That's it, Thomas. Now we're going to pray for you, brother. We're going to pray for your ass. So it's the false flags. Let me pick up there. It's the false flags. It's the staging. So we got the players. We've got the operatives. Now what do we need for World War IV? Now what do we need to do the nuclear exchange? We need a false flag. We need a USS Liberty ship. We need something that's there that's ours, U.S., not just Zyocon, not just Israeli, American, and it's there. They've got it all set up and staged, ready for the hits. That comes next. Does Donnie know that? He should know it. It's possible that he might have lost the plot. Do you think Donnie could have lost the plot? I don't know. It's possible. He's losing the plot. I think he knows what the plot is. I think he's playing stupid. And I think he's been pulled into this goddamn Bibi Mossad strike. And I see it escalating. It's not just a one-off. Even Trump, Donnie, I call him Donnie Trump, he was saying that it was just a one-off. Now's the time for peace, as I ranted earlier, 44 minutes ago. It's not the time for peace. Now's the time for retaliation. Now's the time for escalation with these people that now really, really, really hate Donnie and really, really, really hate the U.S. because we're imperial pigs that have doing bad fucking shit over there with a corrupt Zyocon leader, Bibi and Sarah. It's a tag team with those two. She's probably running the show, and she just puts dumb nuts out there with these huge disc ears to do the tough man talk, because she can only do that when she's drunk, like, you know, in her little lush rages, and she's lashing out, which doesn't look pretty in front of the cameras. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know that for sure. Although this documentaries, that's exactly how they paint her. She's psychotic and violent, which I believe. How could we overlook Sarah? Oh, yes. So the false flags are set up. We're all in danger. We're not more secure. We're not safer because we've blasted a bunch of fucking shit up. Now, it's possible. Let me backpedal 1 second. It's possible that what Trump did was to pay off the Mossad, to appease his crime partner, Bibi and Sarah, and actually just struck these empty little warehouses that have already been heads up. They've already been alerted. They alerted Iran it was coming. Iran is on Al Jazeera TV today, this evening, after the strike, saying, hey, we already moved everything around. We had a heads up. Hey, we already evacuated everyone. So now if that's true, and we don't have a bunch of Iranian children's guts that have been punched and blasted and splattered all over the fucking streets of Tehran, if that didn't happen, and it was just a technical hit, that possibly could be salvageable in whatever it is that he could pull, whatever white rabbit out of his fucking top hat to avoid World War IV exchange. I don't know if it's avoidable at this point. And of course, China is the end game. China is flying in goodies to Iran. What was in these? Jet fuel? I don't know. Or not necessarily rocket fuel. I don't know how that works. I'm not an engineer. I have no idea how that shit works. But I do know that they may have needed something because China came flying in some big fucking white planes. Did you see that? Did you see China doing that in Iran? Bonnie Blue. Welcome to high prices on everything. Inflation, that's it, Safe. You didn't just use Gen Z slang, boy. I'm Gen X, mofo. I'm Gen X. Well, hey, listen, all right. I know the Gen Z slang, bro. Okay, bro. I do know that. Maybe I should digress. I think I did I get everything out? I don't know. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Let me recap just to cap it up and end up, and I'll close out. I hate doing long ones. It's already 48, and Casey's ready to murder me in here. I'm trying to escape out the back door before shots are fired, Casey. The Trump appears to have betrayed a huge chunk of the base, the MAGA base, as well as the newbies, the normies, the indies, the Democrats we came in through Bobby Jr. Don't forget that the independents and a huge chunk of Democrats followed with Children's Health Defense, Bobby Jr., the Kennedy family and the Kennedy family name, and his campaign that the Democrats sabotaged and fought him tens of millions of dollars in court with legal lawfare to prevent him from getting on the ballot. Don't forget that a huge chunk of American First came from that umbrella. And I'm talking to the MAGA, not to the crowd tonight. I'm talking to the MAGA diehards who keep saying we created this and we did this and we're always with Israel and blah, 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 and fuck you guys, you're instigators. And some of these bitches are saying we're now Qatari. Listen, I do everything I do is for free. I don't get a fucking dime from anybody. You can't fucking peg me with any foreign influence. Fuck you. I am an all-American, free. Nobody pays me anything, period. All right, except for paintings, and that's a small group. It's not political. Nobody pays me for politics, so you can't say that about me. And you can't say that about half the people, at least, that you're smearing them with. Okay, with this Qatari foreign, like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's outstanding. There's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong for standing up for peace. We don't want radiation plumes fucking up our farms. We don't want all of that shit that comes with this world war. So even if you don't like Trump, do you want nuclear holocaust? Even if you don't like Israel or you don't like Iran, whoever it is that don't you want to de-escalate? I mean, are you with this crowd, the Senator Cruz crowd that thinks the Bible says we're supposed to blow the shit out of Earth because God wants it that way to stand with Israel? Fuck no, you're not. There's probably not a single person in the house that thinks that way. At least this house, this chat house, the ideas room of the chat. Hell no, we don't think like that. That's what some of these dipshits are thinking. Many of them, like Mark Levin, the guy eats raw baby meat, you know? I mean, he doesn't even cook babies. He just eats it raw. I mean, the guy loves death. That guy was a never-Trumper. Mark Levin was a never-Trumper. Ted Cruz never said he wanted anything to do with Trump. No, fuck him. We're going to go with Ron DeSantis because Ron DeSantis loves Zion. That's the facts. So you got the same people that have been sabotaging Trump now claiming they love Trump. Oh, yeah. They're big Trump cheerleaders. Except for bombing Iran and creating World War IV and a nuclear holocaust. It's kind of more important than Trump and the midterms and Trump's legacy and helping out working class struggling Americans. Right? That's more important than anything. Because back in Israel, that's more important than getting the veterans low-income housing. That's more important than getting food in these starving American babies' mouths. No, we got to stand with it because the Bible says so. The Bible says we got to starve the kids so we can buy bombs for Israel. World War IV Holocaust. It's in Scripture, right there in the Old Testament. Shut the fuck up. You hear these guys? Fuck these guys. Come on. Fuck them. Snap out of it, Donnie. Snap out of it. Give peace a chance. So even if he can salvage, if he's done a weird little glitch and like he bombed empty warehouses where there's no workers and no bombs and no uranium, okay, stop. Just full stop, Donnie. Just full stop. We don't need any more because Iran's they're already firing. I've been watching for the last hour. Iran has been firing missiles right during the daytime, blowing the shit out of Israel all fucking over there. That's going to escalate for weeks. They probably got 30 or 40,000 missiles. I don't know who the dumb fuck. It's probably Ted Cruz is saying they only got a couple thousand missiles left. Those guys have probably got half of the country is underground bunkers full of fucking missiles from the floor to the ceiling. I kid you not. I've seen video that looks like that on public video. I don't have any insight. Although it would be cool if we could just like port there, do a little remote viewing, and then we're like, bing! Yep, the video's right. It's packed full of missiles. And that's going to escalate. So we're going to have Houthis coming in, Pakistan's, and whoever the fuck funded the radicals in Pakistan that's been firing missiles into India. They've created monsters. I don't know who it was. Got some suspicions. It could be a couple people, though. A couple different groups. Somebody funded the fucking radicals. If you missed it, India and Pakistan have been exchanging missiles and bombing each other's nuclear facilities, just like we're bombing Iran. So what happens when we hit these nuclear facilities? What happens to the radiation when it's released? Anyone? Bueller? KC? What happens to the radiation when we hit it with the missile? Anyone? Goes straight on up into the atmospheric rivers and circles the earth. Circles the earth. Fucks up everybody. Doesn't just fuck up Iran. Doesn't just fuck up the people you don't like in the neighborhood. It doesn't just fuck up the people, the Muslims, or whoever it is that you hate. It doesn't just fuck them up. It fucks everybody up. It fucks the whole region up. It fucks everyone's food supplies up because radiation will go into and circle the earth through atmospheric rivers, and it'll rain down just like we had in Fukushima. Fukushima went out. It caught up into the jet streams. Fukushima was raining radiation down into the grass. The cows were eating the grass on the West Coast, and the cows were producing radioactive milk out of their tits. True story. That happened. That happened. When Fukushima melted down, it hit the West Coast and rained. It contaminated the grass. The cows ate it and created radioactive milk and milk products. Not to mention, the cattle are now radioactive, and we ate that shit. We're still eating the radioactive fish and the shrimp and everything out of the Pacific because we love seafood. But it's radioactive, right? Here's Mark Houston. I'm from the UK. When Trump talks, he clearly lies to Republicans. Not hear him lie. Or do they act dumb? Sorry. Serious question. I think it's a mix. Sorry. I'm losing it here. I've been screaming for too long. 56 minutes rant. I think some Republicans do play stupid. Yes. And I think there's also there's a cult type thing. I know people hate that in the movement, and I don't even like it. I've pushed back against it. But there is a very small percentage of cultists that he could do anything. He could say anything, and they'll twist it and bend it and say, I stand with Trump, like I saw in chats this whole evening. I stand with Trump. And then you got all these other people saying, I'll never vote for a Republican again just because what he did here and lied to us. I'll never vote for a Republican again. Those are the people that are going to fuck us in the midterms. Those are the people that are bitter and jaded. Nothing Donnie says or is going to do in the next 6 months, 8 months through next year. Well, I guess he's got a little bit more time done. He's got 12 months, 12 to 14, 15 months. Time goes by fast. It's going to go by faster than Don thinks, faster than the campaign thinks. It's going to go by. But on that flip side, people, after a year, people do have this weird short-term memory loss. And people can be persuaded. It's a weird phenomenon. If anybody can pull it off, it'd be Don. I don't like it. I don't like anything about it. I like people that tell the truth. Don has spoken the truth for years. When he's lying, it's obvious when he's lying. We can all see it. And you lose integrity. It's all about in politics is we have been lied to for so long by so many different people in so many groups. We don't believe anyone anymore, and we're losing hope in the political system. That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. Doesn't mean if you're far left or far right, if you don't think voting matters and you're now going to take what you consider democracy into your own hands, we start seeing whack jobs, again, that could be false flags, like this Vance character and his little CIA wife with the 5 crying babies as she gets pulled over with pistols and ammo and passports and $50,000 in cash for some strange reason. How about that, huh? You can really tell a lot about a guy when his wife's got pistols, ammo, passport, cash, and screaming babies in the back seat. That'll tell you a whole bunch about a fucking sociopathic killer. Or any man. Whether you charged him or not with the crime. Right? You with me? So, go get a beer. The lime seltzer. I don't drink anymore. And I don't drink beer. I like Chardonnay, believe it or not. I know it seems kind of gay, but I used to like the Chardonnay. Every now and then I'll drink a Chardonnay, a glass. The red wine, sulfites, I have allergic reaction. It feels like poison. And then the next 12 hours, 2 days, I feel like I've been poisoned. The sulfites, I get migraines. I can't see. I wake up with strange women. I have these weird rashes, and then there's felonies and misdemeanors. No, I'm kidding. But I don't drink anymore, and I don't like red wine. If I were to, like gin, a good gin martini, does that age me? Anybody else like gin? Nobody likes gin. It tastes like Christmas trees, It's like, you're like, what the fuck is this? Lawn clippings? It's like, but something about the gin is a good gin, not a cheap gin, but like a good juniper gin from Bend, from Bend, Oregon. A martini. Oh, that's so good. But I don't drink those either. And I really, Pacifico, that's actually a pretty decent beer. You got me on that one. The Pacifico is definitely, but like Coors Light and Pabst and this shit lager beer. Pacifico's, that's lager, but that one's not bad. Cheers if you're drinking Pacifico. Cheers to whatever you're drinking tonight. We're going into World War IV, goddammit. You might as well have a fucking drink, all right? Maybe twist up a bobby and puff on one of those in the backyard, my friend. Bud Light, yeah, right? Even before it went trans and real gay, that's okay. I don't mean to be, but it's just not my thing. Back in the day, Budweiser was 40-inch supermodels, blondes, and then occasionally it'd have like these huge galloping Clydesdale horses. It was all balls and babes and skateboard. They had a dog would jump on a skateboard. And they used to be fucking cool. Not anymore. Fuck that shit. And you guys bankrupted them, or they bankrupted themselves. So yeah, what happened to World War III? Thanks, Shelley. Jesus. See that? My God. Start thinking about booze, just fall right down a goddamn rabbit hole. Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate that. What happened to you mean, am I calling it World War IV? Well, the CIA, not that I'm a big fan of the CIA, but it is important to read these military nuts. Their documents say World War III already happened. World War III was that interaction with the Soviet Union. And I actually frame it, I don't actually use that playbook. I actually frame it the last 20 years with all of the proxies in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, all of these areas that we have had, the entire world has had proxy militant. We funded ISIS, we funded Al Qaeda, we this and that. These guys are this and that. And that Soleimani, that's the one thing that reminds me. Soleimani was killing ISIS. Soleimani, I'm not saying he was a good guy. I'm not saying he was a saint. This is the guy Trump mentioned in his little 3-minute fucking thing. He goes on and on and on how proud he is that he blew the shit out of this General Soleimani, who is a national hero, a national general. The guy was a national treasure to the entire region, but Iran and the IRG in particular. The guy was killing the terrorists just like we were killing the terrorists. We're killing the same fucking people there for a bit during World War III, the proxy war. So that's why I say World War IV. Okay, Shelley, I got you. That's why I do that, and it probably makes me sound insane, and I'm okay with that. No, just because I'm self-deprecating that way, and I don't see myself as crazy, although I'm definitely eccentric. I'm a painter. I kind of match the description of kind of an eccentric painter. But we're peacemakers and we're peace activists, and that's what the American First umbrella is. We need to come together. This polarization where people are killing each other in the street needs to stop. We don't need any bing anybody, anytime, for any reason, especially politics. Let's stop beating up each other over politics. Let's stop assassinating each other's people we don't like because of politics. Full stop. We are Americans. Are we not? Or we may be around the world. I don't want you to be globalist, but let's just say we are on the same page, at least a little bit. I know we got a lot of differences, but at least a little bit. We don't want to be speaking German. That's why we fought the Nazis and we had to kill them. Okay? We don't want to be speaking Chinese necessarily. There's nothing wrong with speaking Chinese or Mandarin. I was learning a little Mandarin for a little while, but we don't really, my point is we don't want to have overlords controlling what we're doing. We want to, I at least want to maintain some of that identity and our freedoms of our American Republican Constitution. If you're with me there, we've got a lot of common ground. Even if we're voting for different people, even if we drink different beverages, and we're sleeping with different types of people. Okay? That's where I'm at, right? I'm diplomatic on that sense. And that's why that's really disturbing to me. All of this war and World War IV, all this is going to do is create huge, massive divisions. And we're going to start having people that are mentally ill. They're going to be racing into our churches, doing bad things that bad, dark spirits and enemies do. They're going to be racing into our synagogues. We've seen this before in the past. A lot of them have weird, shady intel connections. Am I wrong? Look at this Vance guy. CIA phones and flying all over like he's with U.S. aid. Come on. Working with Governor Walz or appointed? Come on. This is a standard CIA cutout, intel agency cutout. They do it over and over and over and over again. They got more for us. That chaos creates political strength for them, not us. That's why we got to come together, Shelley. And yo. God bless you, man. God bless you. You guys are good people. It's good people. I got to admit, I was just stunned because it was like real. It was like it wasn't bluster anymore. It was done, and I could see it in the astro aspects. I could see it. There was Mars, Neptune, literally the ocean, King Neptune, submarines. Now it's trickling out. We'll hear more of the details later, but submarines actually shot those missiles off, and they're saying that there was planes and bombers. I'm sure there was. I don't know. I'm thinking it was more submarines, but the intel that I'm gathering, it's very little, I could be wrong, but it would make sense with Mars and odds with Neptune doing some weird jivey stuff. Now, that's just kind of a weird little quirk that I learned about following the astro aspects. It's not always correct. It's not always right. But when we're in a time of war, if we follow Mars and what Mars is doing, if Mars is misaligned, we can actually connect the dots. And I can say, like today, I did, Mars is not in a good spot. We're going to see some action. We got World War IV right here on the stage. Now we can pray. We can pray to avoid it. I don't think we can avoid it. I don't see Iran backing down. I think they're actually going to lob a couple of radioactive bad boys into Israel. And I pray for the people because the people are innocent, oppressed. It's the military and the government that's corrupt, just like the Republican Party, just like our Congress, just like the White House. The deep state, they're like cancer, and they politically get in and fuck with us. Am I wrong? You know I'm right. So now Jason, hold up. World War IV. It's just my thing. I broke it down. The World War III was a proxy war. The CIA says that World War III was between the Soviet Union and Russia. So and that could be, even though we didn't have a nuclear exchange, we were very, 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 very close. John F. Kennedy with the Cuban Missile Crisis, there was nuclear missiles in Cuba pointed at Florida and the States for at least a year. I think it was more than a couple of years. at least a year. That Cuban Missile Crisis, if you haven't heard about that, if you haven't read that part of history, take a look at that. So, and that's what the CIA refers to as 3. Now, I actually think, I frame it, and I think, I'm not a historian, but I am empathic. I'm intuitive, okay? It's like extrasensory psychic perception, okay? Not always correct, but I see the historians actually rewriting it and coming out and framing World War III was the last 15, 20 years battling the Taliban, Afghanistan, the proxies connected to ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Libya, and all these different militant proxy wars. Iran was in there. China was in there. Don't get me wrong, China's been funding all of this shit. China has actually been funding and sending the Pakistani domestic terrorists, or whatever you want to call these guys that are blowing up India in the mountains. It gave them the planes, gave them the missiles, taught them how to do it. China's right in the thick of the Pakistan-India conflict because they want that pipeline. China's got a pipeline. They don't want that pipeline to go into India. They want that motherfucker to come straight into Chicom land, which is straight, instead of coming down to India. See? There's a little geopolitics inside. Which part am I wrong about? Robinson? Novato. You're very wrong. I don't think we can avoid it either. It's kind of sad. I mean, it doesn't mean that the whole planet's going to go up. It just means we're really, really close to the whole planet going up. And it's going to be very difficult to avoid not a full nuclear holocaust. Now, Putin, as much as people hate Putin, my take on Putin is he's been very, very reserved. You noticed he hasn't been nuking anyone. He's been actually protecting the nuclear facility. Ukraine keeps trying to blow it up and then blaming Russia. Russia doesn't want a Chernobyl. Russia's been through Chernobyl. They fucked them up. They don't want that shit. And they certainly don't want it now, okay? Contrary to the framing in the CIA and the Ukraine Nazis. If you don't know, the same people, Mossad, the CIA, is there with the Ukraine Nazis, are the same ones that are now involved with instigating Iranian World War IV. Obviously, Mossad's with Israel because it's their fucking intel agency. So you can say I'm wrong about all that. I could be wrong about it. I'm rarely wrong. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, look, I was right. We got nuked and wow, yeah, we had another guy drive through a New Orleans parade and kill 50 people. I told you it was coming. I'm not that kind of guy. It hurts me emotionally to be correct. So there's that. All right. Jason Mitt. Sorry, it's not you. It's me. My glasses. Janak. Jason Mitt Janak. Actually, he may be onto something with astrological timing affecting things. I learned that from my mother. My mother is kind of a grand astro wizard, and so my whole life I was always hearing things like, oh, Mercury's retrograde and it's in Virgo, so you better buckle up. Don't ride your skateboard today because Virgo is Mercury. And I'm like, what? All right, okay, Mom, I'm heading out. I'm twisting up Marleys and skateboarding around town. Mom says Mercury's retrograde. So that was my upbringing with my mom, single mom, a couple of younger sisters. And then I would spend the summers with my dad up in Idaho, which there was 5 brothers and sisters up there with his second wife. And they're still up there, or at least he's up there. I don't know what the fam's doing up there, and they were Christian. They didn't like astrology. That was all satanic. So I got a different dose of scripture in God and in the church and cults. I kind of consider that time escaping a cult from northern Idaho. It was a long time ago. I'm 50s now, right? You guys might think I'm a boomer. I'm not. I'm Gen X. But that was a long time ago. We're talking about 40 years ago here, or 35. So, but the astrology, it is there. It's amazing because you'll see things about Mars and this, and you'll see, and you can just take a look at it. Just pick up one of these little books. This is just like a little daily planner, and this one's called Daily Planetary Guide, right? I think that's probably reversed, but it's Llewellyn's. They're like $10, and it shows you every day what's going on, what the moon's in, what's happening. We got a new moon coming up next Wednesday, and new moons can be just as powerful as full moons. There's tons of psychotic breaks on new moons. Now that we're looking at World War IV, I predict, you can be my witness now, I predict that because of the astrology and because of the meditation, spiritual type of meditation, but the astrology is indicating my gut feeling, the new moon is going to be nasty. It's going to be ugly, and we might even have attacks here on the state. That might be the retaliation is on the new moon. Hunters attack on the new moon because it's dark. The full moon's bright, you're going to get caught. That's my psychology on that. The new moon, it's dark, you can fly, it's stealth. That's where sabotage comes in. That's where missiles and mass casualty events take place in a time of war, unfortunately. And like clockwork, you'll remember what I just told you now when I said that, when it hits. I think that's next week, the 25th. Yeah, it's next Wednesday, the new moon. There's some other things connected to the new moon too, but it's just really, really predictable. When you're in the middle of a war and you're waiting to be retaliated against, the fucking new moon coming up is a no-brainer. It doesn't matter what sign it's in. It can be in Sagittarius, it can be in Taurus, it can be in whatever. And there is a bunch of Taurus energy happening right now, and there's a bunch of Cancer. Now, Cancer energy is the crab. That's the emotional. That's the child crying. That's the emotions. That's the Cancer sign. It's the shell, but they're really vulnerable and weak. Horrible time to be avoiding being shelled by retaliation from World War event. Horrible time. And there's a bunch of Cancer. It's like Mercury, all these things. The sun's clicking in because we just had the solstice. Sun clicked in, the moon's in Taurus, which I'm a Taurus. I'm born in May, and my sun sign's Taurus, but I have 3 planets that are actually in Gemini. So I understand the Gemini and the air and the river going with the flow. That's really my personality more than the Taurus. But Taurus, you've got the stubborn bull in the astral alignments in a time where people are trying to work out nuclear diplomacy in peace, ceasefire with stubborn Taurus? Not a chance. I don't want to be the negative Debbie Downer, but it doesn't look good. Absolutely. I agree. It's not definite with astrology. I have friends who are Wiccan. I see, Shelley, and into the whole Druid thing. I've studied some of the Druid thing. Did you see my paintings? Shelley, did you come in? I know I've been going for quite a while, but this one here, this is from art from the Andes. And you can see there, it's a sun gate. You got to be careful because the orange is still wet. But this is ancient stuff. I love this stuff. And then this is more art from the Andes. This one was from the blood moon. A couple months ago, we had the blood moon eclipse, which is a prime time for human sacrifices, unfortunately, and child sacrifice and human sacrifice. And sure enough, war really started kicking off with this blood moon, eclipse moon a couple of months back, if you remember that. And then this is an owl priestess. Now, the drawing came out of a book. From a tapestry. They did a lot of tapestries, and so I'm just taking that and then I'm adding color. The colors are mine, doing a little bit of modification. I do the same thing with Egyptian stuff. I got a bunch. I'm not going to go through it all now. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going on too long, but I got a couple paintings right behind you can't see, but of Egyptian hieroglyphics from the tombs. So I take the tombs and and I've been painting them, or at least I've been doing that now. I do a lot of different type of stuff. Anyway, cool. Well, good seeing you guys. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you hanging out and listening to me rant. It's really therapeutic for me. It's very difficult to influence anyone anymore. I've been in politics for a long time. I used to be with the Green Party. I'm a co-founder of the Green Party 30 years ago. I helped run Ralph Nader's campaign in 96 and 2000. I'm an old Green guy when we used to be more libertarian. Now we got Democrats came in and took over the fucking party, turned it into identity politics, started mandating trans type of stuff and all of this that we don't need. We can't get votes when people think we're doing weird shit. And that's exactly what the Democrats have done. The Democrats have totally imploded with a bunch of weird shit that didn't need to be there. And you don't need to put in that stuff into the platforms. It's like, yay, we're going to stand. It's like, no, you just lost 40 million votes, 40 million people. That's how you guys elected and helped get Trump elected because of that crazy shit. You see what I'm saying? So I know a lot about the politics of it. And I know that you can't change people's opinion very easy. It's really therapeutic for me because my brain works too fast. It's like a adult attention deficit, kind of like an Elon brain or something, but he's way smarter than I am. It's just like that dysfunction, and I don't have a ketamine supplier. Otherwise, I would probably enjoy ketamine just like he does, right? Because there's certain there's certain things. Ketamine is really powerful with depression and stuff too. He's using that therapeutically. I really believe that. It wasn't just recreationally. But back in the day, I used to do rave parties, and we used to do it recreationally. And it looks like now those things that we were doing, the MDMA and the Cubensis, all of those things are now being examined in clinical trials, clinical studies for treating real mental issues like depression, right? Or identity crisis. So you can do that vision quest, which it's 4 rounds Native American, you do a sweat, but then you add your ayahuasca or your Cubensis, and then you do a sweat where you meditate on what it is that you're supposed to be doing in this world and what it is that the spirit world wants us to do. See, that's more important than what we selfishly want to do. We need to meditate on what it is that the peacemaker in the spirit world wants us to do to help maybe bring some peace, if possible. May not be possible. Or it might. Doesn't mean we stop trying, so. The dims can ruin a wet dream. Boy, you said it, Shelley. They can turn a beautiful encounter in the dream with the person of your dreams and turn it into a nightmare where you're being stalked and they're sleeping in a car in front of your house and you just want them to go away, but they won't go away. That's the Democrat Party. Right on, Shelley. Okay, I'm heading out. I gotta take a nap. I'm sorry, but I gotta take a nap. I think I hit everything I wanted to say there. My video from yesterday and then my analysis of the parade, the march downtown, the last 2 videos are pretty good. And then I made a couple little short films with the montage of all the pictures of the parade of the No Kings Day downtown Portland. And I put one into Black Sabbath. I put another one into Phil Collins. I put another little, I like to do these little shorts, YouTube shorts. So take a look at those. All right. God bless. We'll see you soon. Okay? Be safe. We're in a danger zone. God bless.